You remember in this connection that coconut land is not woodland. Ha? Ang coconut land is not considered woodland. So, hindi pwede magputol ng puno ng nyog ang usufructuary. Okay. Supposing the usufructuary introduces useful improvements or improvements for mere pleasure, ornamental improvements on the property under usufruct. Can he do it? Yes, as long as he does not alter the form and substance of the thing under usufruct. Can he demand reimbursement for the expenses he incurred? The answer is no. He cannot claim reimbursement for the expenses he incurred for useful and ornamental expenses or improvements. But he can set off the value of these improvements against any possible liability for damages which he may have incurred. What are the obligations of the usufructuary? At the start of the usufruct, there are two basic obligations of the usufructuary. Number one, he must submit an inventory of the things under usufruct. And number two, he must also give a sufficient security. What will be the security for? That is to guarantee his compliance with his obligations as a usufructuary. When is an inventory not required? Okay? When no one will be injured, provided, of course, the naked owner consents to the non-submission of the inventory. In case the naked owner waives the requirement for an inventory, or if there is such a provision in a will, where the usufruct was created by will, or in the contract creating the usufruct. What about the security? When is a security not required? Again, when no one will be injured, provided the naked owner consents. Number two, if there is waiver on the part of the naked owner. Number three, if the usufructuary happens to be the donor of the thing, sa kanya nang galing, binigyan niya, but he reserves the usufruct of the property, he is not required to furnish a security. Okay? In the case of caution juratoria, the promise under oath, if there is a caution juratoria, the usufructuary is also not required to furnish a security. What will be the legal consequence if there is a failure to provide the security? We have the provisions of Article 586 of the Civil Code. In that case, the naked owner may demand that the immovables be placed under administration, that the movables be sold, that the public bonds, instruments of credit be converted into registered securities or certificates, and that the cash and the proceeds of the sale of the movables be invested in safe securities. The usufructuary, of course, will be entitled to the interest on these sales of the movables and the other proceeds of the property placed under administration. What is the caution juratoria? Sometimes it may happen that the usufructuary is given the usufruct of certain properties, house, for example, furniture, equipment, and tools. Pero walang-wala. He does not have money to get the necessary security. In that case, he may petition the court to allow him to make use of the house so that he and his family can live there, that he be allowed to use the furniture, that the tools and implements of a trade be given to him so he can use it, so that he can earn money. Okay? That may be granted by the court upon the promise of the usufructuary under oath. Kaya ang tawag dyan, caution juratoria. That he needs the property, he will take care of it as required by law. A usufructuary, of course, is obliged to take care of the thing with the diligence of a good father of a family. Supposing he fails in that obligation, okay, he abuses the thing. He misuses the things under usufruct. Will that cause the termination of the usufruct? The answer is no. What is the remedy of the owner in that case? The owner may simply ask that administration be given to him, pursuant to the provisions of Article 610 of the Civil Code. If the usufruct is constituted on a herd of livestock, the law says he is obligated to replace with the young thereof those which are lost each year due to natural causes or due to the rapacity of beasts of prey. Okay? Yung mga nawawala dahil sa mga mandarambong beasts of prey. Mga hayop na mababagsik. Okay. Supposing that the usufruct is constituted on sterile animals. Okay. Yung mga hayop na baog, hindi pwedeng manganak. Okay. What's the obligation of the usufructuary? It will be considered as if the usufruct was constituted on fungibles. In other words, the usufructuary simply has the obligation to pay their appraised value if they are appraised, or if not, he has the obligation to replace them with the same quantity and quality, or pay their current value at the time of the termination of the usufruct. Okay? A good example of a sterile animal would be a mule. Okay, a mule. Yung mule, M-U-L-E, that's a usually used as an animal to carry, yung mga things or cargo. Yung mga panahon ng cowboy at Indian, yan, mule. Okay? A mule is a sterile animal. Okay? And you produce a mule by crossbreeding a male donkey with a female horse. Pag nag-crossbreed ka ng male donkey at female horse, the offspring will be a mule. Okay? Sterile yun. All right. Who is responsible for repairs? You distinguish between ordinary and extraordinary repairs. Ordinary repairs are the responsibility of the usufructuary. When is a repair considered an ordinary repair? If it is due to wear and tear and it is indispensable for the preservation of the thing. So, two requisites must be due to wear and tear, and it must be indispensable for the preservation of the thing. That will be considered an ordinary repair. The usufructuary is obliged to make the ordinary repair. All other repairs are considered extraordinary. Halimbawa, due to wear and tear, but not indispensable for the preservation of the thing, that's considered extraordinary. Okay? Extraordinary repairs shall be, according to the law, at the expense of the naked owner. But the naked owner, please take note, is not obliged to make the extraordinary repairs. Supposing the naked owner makes the extraordinary repairs, he spends for the extraordinary repairs. What right would he have? Under the law, he would have the right to demand from the usufructuary interest, legal interest on the amount he spent for the extraordinary repairs for the duration of the usufruct. He can demand legal interest. Supposing that the repair is extraordinary, indispensable for preservation, but not caused by ordinary wear and tear. Halimbawa, the property under usufruct is a house. May malakas na bagyo, nilipad ang bubungan. That's not due to ordinary wear and tear. But that repair is indispensable for the preservation of the property. And let's further assume that the naked owner does not make that extraordinary repair. Okay? In that case, since it is indispensable for the preservation of the thing, the usufructuary may make that extraordinary repair. What would be his rights? If the usufructuary, under those circumstances, makes the extraordinary repair, he may demand from the naked owner at the termination of the usufruct the increase in value which the thing may have acquired as a consequence of the repair. Annual charges and taxes which are considered lien on the fruits charged to the usufructuary. Real property tax on the land under usufruct, that should be paid by the naked owner, not by the usufructuary. If the usufruct is constituted on the whole patrimony of a person, and the naked owner happens to have unpaid debts, okay, is there an obligation on the part of the usufructuary to pay the debts? If there is no order from the naked owner to pay the debts, there is no obligation on the part of the usufructuary to pay those debts, except if the usufruct was constituted in fraud of creditors. If there is an order from the naked owner for the usufructuary to pay the naked owner's debts, it is understood that he is obligated to pay only to pay the debts existing at the time the usufruct was constituted. Only pre-existing debts must be paid, applying the provisions of Article 758 and 759 of the Civil Code. How is usufruct extinguished? You take note of the provisions of Article 603 of the Civil Code. The death of the usufructuary generally terminates the usufruct. What about the death of the naked owner? It does not terminate the usufruct. Merger